said, did you get those?
No, they didn't text me.
Can you check on your Facebook page just to see, because it says that it might not rotate. We have an issue on this time. So see, because then otherwise we might have to fix it.
Yeah.
All right, we're waiting for a quorum. And we have it now. So we can sit down. Just so you know, John Collins is on his way. He's got his traffic sign.
Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we can do that. I mean, like, if we really want to.
I think we should check for the
I'm afraid to. Hard to consider. I think so.
There we go. We're live.
Right, okay. So I want to welcome everybody to the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee Wednesday, February 26, 2020 meeting. Last meeting of this group. So that's a milestone. And I'm wondering if the people are here to stay afterwards and take that photo. So the first thing I'd like to do is call order and roll call, please. Member Alexander. Member Alioto. Here. Member Baraka. Member Bryant. Member Campos. Member Chan. Present. Member De Jesus. Member Duffy. Member Fewer. Is here by proxy. Right? Member Fewer. And here by proxy. Member Delata. Here. Member Grove. Member Elshay is here. Member Tomshay. Member John. Member Kim. Member LaCroix. Member Lowe. Present. Member Mahogany. Here. Member Mandelman. Member Maxwell. Member Norton. Member Sousa. Member Walton. Senator Feinstein. Speaker Pelosi. Congresswoman Spear. Lieutenant Governor Kumalakis. Treasurer Ma. Board of Equalization Member Cohen. All right. State Senator Lena. Assembly Member 2.
Here.
And Assembly Member 2. All right, so the next item is item number 2, approval of the meeting agenda. Discussion and possible action regarding the approval of this agenda. Colleagues, do I have a motion? All right, so let's go to item 6. I received a presentation on census 2020 outreach efforts in San Francisco. It's a discussion and possible action to add this to the agenda. And this is by Lowe. You want to address? Or read that?
We talked about this a few days since the last students meeting. There was an action on the agenda, so we added it to the agenda. We should be having a presentation from the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. I thought this would be really important for the Democratic Party, given that this only takes place every 10 years, and it's a really important asset, especially under this federal administration. We need to make sure we dispel some of the myths and the fears.
Do we have, I was just wondering if we could take that by acclamation, or do we have any objection? Acclamation, okay. So that's added as item number 6. So then we go back to item number 2, approval of the meeting agenda. Can we take that? Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, that passes. And then we also need to approve an item number 3, approval of January meeting minutes.
Fitzgerald, Craig Coaster, Susan Shane, Alec Bash, and I are part of Sophie Maxwell's Group Strategies Committee. Our committee is opening a Democratic volunteer space in San Francisco to provide the infrastructure and resources needed for a headquarters, working space, and political hub for San Francisco's Democratic community. Last month, we were pleased to get unanimous support of the SFDCCC, and we thank you. This was a big step forward to secure the resources this project needs to proceed. However, since the SFDCCC's January meeting, the project has been at a standstill. We are waiting for DCCC's lawyers and accountants to reply to our questions. Working with the SFDCCC lawyers and accountants is a critical path for this project. We can't proceed without it. If we can connect our Group Strategies Committee with the SFDCCC lawyers and accountants as soon as possible, we can get back to work on opening a much-needed volunteer space for San Francisco's Democratic community. We understand you're busy with re-elections and that you have a new executive director who's amazing. But we have an opportunity to coalesce our thousands of volunteers and numerous local groups into a force that is stronger than the sum of its parts, and who are eager to donate time to democratic values. But time is of the essence. We thank you for your continued support for this much-needed project.
Thank you. And I'm sure we can work with the director to see, what any of the holdups are in terms of contacting the attorneys and the accountants. Next.
Hi there, I'm Andrew. We are both colleagues from 21 San Francisco. We would like to thank you as usual for your support and just give you our brief, very, very monthly report. So since we are here last, we have started doing our regular phone breaks again. So we've made close to 2,500 phone calls, and we have started setting up our monthly meetings. We have our largest meeting ever last month, and we are looking forward to March's meeting where we will have as our guest speaker Ann Ravel, who is the former head of the FEC. It's very interesting. And now I would like to hand over the mic to my colleague, who's in charge of the PNC operation.
Hi. Just to give you a sense of what's going on, not here on the ground, but in Central Valley on the ground, the seats that were flipped in 2018, we have been doing monthly canvassing. So far, since throughout 2019, we have knocked on over 4,000 doors for the upcoming 4-day GOTV effort in both District 10 and in 21. We have over 80 volunteers going that are going to be spending the night, canvassing, and staying until 8 p.m. until polls close on Tuesday, March 3rd. So, and I personally will be running the GOTV effort in 21 that's out of Selma and Sanger for the TJ Cox campaign.
Are you all working with the state Democratic Party on their push in 10 and 21 in those districts?
Yes, we are. We're doing the canvassing is in both in coordination with the state district and with the campaigns of TJ Cox and Rex Harper.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hello, colleagues. I'm Christine Pelosi, chair of the California Democratic Party Women's Caucus and a candidate for re-election to the Democratic National Committee. I bring greetings from our board member, Pratima Gupta, who left us all to go down to San Diego, but she's still on our board and hopes to see many of you in Visalia. And if you can't make it, we'll be live streaming our meeting, so you can watch on Facebook Live. So we are ever expanding our efforts to reach out because we are approaching this Women's History Month. We have a lot of women's progress to celebrate and to recommit to. So that will be the theme of our meeting at the executive board meeting. We will be promoting the ERA. We will be promoting our speaker, Nancy Pelosi. We will be promoting the women that get out to vote next Tuesday, including
all of you. So we will be celebrating also the 100th anniversary of the first set of women who earned the right to vote, certain white women, and we will be talking about our commitment to expanding voting rights across all genders, all races, and all communities so that everybody is enfranchised. At last, on my race for Democratic National Committee, just to put in a quick pitch, I'm proud to have the support of many of you as I go forward in this term. I'd like to continue my work as the Vice Chair of the Veterans and Military Families Council, as a member of the Resolutions Committee, where I fought for a climate debate, platform debates, gun violence prevention, equality rights, and of course, the overall party reform that is so important. I do not have a candidate for president. As the speaker said today, we will unite behind any candidate who is nominated by the people and the Democratic Party, and I look forward to working with all of you to make sure that we keep the House, win the Senate, and send Donald Trump to his destiny. Thank you.
All right, next we have Ada Briseño, Susie Shannon, DNC member, Derek, is it Devonmont? Derek Mont. There you go. Okay, and Susie, you're talking for your Oh, I have, oh, sorry, okay. But Susie, you have two cards, you're also going to speak on the rent control initiative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Ada Briseño, and I'm one of the candidates for DNC. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an immigrant from Nicaragua. I came here when I was 6 years old. I was a front desk clerk at a hotel, and after many tribulations, today I'm co-president of Unite Here Local 11, a union that represents 32,000 workers, not only in Southern California, but also Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm proud to represent courageous women and men who every day take on multi-million-dollar corporations. I'm also the chairwoman of the Democratic Party in Orange County, and I'm very happy to tell you that under my leadership, we turned blue. We turned blue. And I'm happy to report that as of today, we have about 24,000 more Democrats than Republicans in Orange County. Who would have known? Wow. I've spent a lot of time not only making sure that people vote, but also expanding the electorate. I formed an organization called Accord, and we've naturalized over 7,000 people in Orange County. For free, by the way, for free. Wow. So very excited. Is also leading the fight in Arizona, where we're where we're registering 40,000 people, making sure we knock on 460,000 doors and speak to 1,000 folks. I'm on the ground with workers, activists, and also with community leaders. I've been leading boldly for the last 29 years, and I've got the endorsement of the LACBP, of also the San Joaquin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have thank you very much. We have a couple more names, Susie Shannon, Susan Pfeiffer.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for allowing us to speak tonight. I'm Susie Shannon. I currently serve on the DNC. I was elected in 2016. I'm endorsed by a number of e-board members, including Barbara Lee, Betty Yee, and over 150 executive board members. I work with homeless and low-income communities in Los Angeles, and when I got to the DNC, I realized that there were councils on a lot of different issues. There was an interfaith council, a small business council, but there was no council on poverty issues. And so I worked very hard I put in a resolution to create a poverty council. I was met with a lot of barriers because we actually didn't want it, and Christine was very helpful as being part of the resolutions committee in terms of helping us get that passed. So now, the first time in history, we have a poverty council at the Democratic National Committee. So every single meeting, we will be addressing issues related to the 40.3 million people who live at or below the poverty level. Basically, we're trying to build political power for that particular group that our position on climate change, on election protection, to support our immigrant communities against attacks from Donald Trump. Obviously I support all kinds of reforms within the DNC. I'm supported by the LA County Democratic Party Central Committee and San Luis Obispo as well. And I would just appreciate the support of the board members here. I work very hard, I make change, and I hope to be reelected.
Thank you very much. Now, my understanding, Susan, Susie, that you were here to speak about the rent initiative as well.
Yes.
Normally we don't do that in the sense that you get 2 minutes, but I do, unless there's any objection, I would like to just give you an opportunity to say something about that, since you came all the way here, so if you can, thank you.
So I'm also the policy director for the Rental Affordability Act. This body last year endorsed Proposition 10, which would repeal Costa-Hawkins and allow cities and counties to enact or expand rent control. It doesn't create rent control, it just gives power back to our local communities to strengthen those laws. I know here any structure that's built after 1979 is not under rent control. In Los Angeles, it's 1978. We're experiencing record homelessness in California. We have over 150,000 people who are homeless. I'm the drafter of SB 1380, which put the state of California on a housing first model. And when we put that through, there were 115,000 people who were homeless in the state of California in 2016. Things are getting worse. Over 50% of the renters pay over 30% of their income on rent, and over 30% pay over 50%. And so we really need to address Costa-Hawkins. We also need to address vacancy control. So this also allows cities and counties, it doesn't create it, but it allows them to create vacancy controls on units so that when a unit becomes vacant, it can't skyrocket in rent, which is something that if you've been following for 1482, the bill on the day that you passed, it doesn't address vacancy controls. So we just want to make sure that people are protected and that we can expand our control so that we can keep our communities pretty much intact and not have them gentrified and not have people feel like they have to move out of their neighborhoods. So I hope that you'll support this as a body and maybe we can bring it up next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we'll hear from the one and only Susan Parker.
Thank you. I'm going to do my monthly report on our new citizen voter registration in Oakland. That was on February 21st. Between the two sessions, we registered a total of 309 new citizens. I had a robust team of volunteers for both sessions. So let's see, on the of 189 new voter registrations, 60% registered as Democrats, which is 113. In the afternoon, there was 120 new voter registrations, 63% Democrats at 76. So it was a total of 189 new Democrats registered that day. Special thanks goes out to member Bevan Duffy, who volunteered in the afternoon and was an excellent voter registration volunteer. And I was hoping he'd be here tonight. He has a birthday tomorrow, and I wanted to wish him a really happy birthday. The next one is March 18th. So, and thanks to Swing Left, they keep helping me with the volunteers. It's a total group effort. And so we're going to have a new group of volunteers. We're almost full, so we hope to keep this going. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then,
I'm working very closely with Karima on the bounty program, and it's going to be robust, and we're keeping it going.
thank you. And if your name was called earlier and you haven't come up, please come up. I know, Derek, you've been waiting, so thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Derek Devermont. I'm running for DNC. I'm on the CDP Rules Committee, and I'm on the Westside Democratic Headquarters for compilation of clubs that sent almost 1,000 canvassers across the state in 2018. 600 alone to Orange County, and we flipped it from red to blue. So we were very happy about that. I do disability advocacy. I've spent my life advocating for the disabled. I also do criminal defense on a pro bono free basis where there's been excessive force of racial profiling. I currently represent an African American man who was stopped for riding a bicycle on the sidewalk of Santa Monica. After that, he was charged with resisting arrest, providing a false identity, and had drugs planted on him. Today, I got word from the district attorney for dismissing that case. Took almost a year to get him. He was in custody for a lot of it until he got released to work and he spent months in custody. That has to change. We have to start treating our drug laws as a health problem and not as a criminal problem. We need to start looking at housing as a health problem and not a criminal problem. There's so much work to do. Now, having said that, it's good to have passion and it's good to feel invigorated by your issues, but we also have to tone down the rhetoric and the aggression towards each other. We have to remember that the enemy is in the White House, not in this room. And I think being civil, we can return to civility, still advocate for our positions, and do the right thing. And that's what I'm about. If that makes sense to you, please vote for me. And if it isn't, Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Is there any member of the public who has not spoken who would like to speak? Seeing none, we're going to close public comment. Oh, have you like to speak? Come on up. Yeah. Come on up. Yeah.
Woohoo!
If you don't mind stating your name.
My name is Sue Boyd-Port, and I am representing an organization called Rise Up and Swing Out. And we're doing a fundraiser for the Sister District Project. So you can look at that. So that's working to flip the state legislature's blue. And so we have this great fundraiser. It has the Kim Valley Band, and she is like a legend in the San Francisco Bay Area, swing and blues, jazz music. She headlines the Broadway Jazz event. So anyway, so it's March 14th at the Freeman Hall. I'll have some flyers. I can put them somewhere. And if you look on Facebook under Rise Up and Swing Out 20, you'll find it.
We're happy to share on our social
We
media.
put it in our newsletter. It
We
went
put
out.
it in our newsletter.
It went out already.
As well.
Yeah, I think
Included
it's in the newsletter. So it'll be swing dancing, swing lesson, cocktails, and great music.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So that concludes public comment. And for those of us who will be voting for who will represent us on the DNC, I really encourage you to take the time to talk to the candidates, get to know them. Can we give all of the candidates a big round of applause? It's now for them to serve in that body. And Democrats in San Francisco, Democrats are not shy to tell you they're not happy with what you're doing. So you will hear from us, but please take the time to talk to them, and thank you for coming. Best of luck to all of you. So with that, we'll move on to item number 5, which is reports, officer reports, and I'll begin with me. And I want to apologize for being late. It took more than 2 hours to get from Santa Clara County to San Francisco today. The challenges sometimes of traffic. But I want to say that this is our last meeting of the term of this Democratic County Central Committee, so it has a very special significance for me, not only as a member, but also having served as the chair for the last couple of years. And I wanted to take this opportunity to first of all thank each and every one of you who has served on the Central Committee. When you actually speak to people who don't know what a Central Committee is and what a Central Committee is in San Francisco, I think a lot of folks are surprised to learn
how much work goes into getting elected to the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee, all the money that you have to spend, all the campaigning that you have to do, and then once you are elected, all the time, energy, and hard work that goes into it. So there are some folks, some of us who are running for re-election, and if we're lucky, we'll be re-elected, and there will be new people elected as well. But I wanted to take this opportunity to just thank all the people that will not be running, who are not running for re-election, who served on this body. And if you can raise your hand, because I want to make sure that I don't leave anyone. So, and I want to really just open the floor to any of you to say something. So, you know, and I'll say something about Tom Shea, Tom, how long have you served on this body? Most ways. So I really wanted to open the floor and, you know, just give every one of you who is serving, who is not running for re-election, an opportunity to say something, because for those of you who are in the audience and those of you who are watching, it's not easy to do this, right? And in many respects, it's a thankless job. But we are very proud of the work that we have done in this term. And so with that, why don't we begin on this side, Tom.
So I can see all my colleagues. Thank you, Chair. First of all, I was bad in the traffic to get here as well, and I was thinking about, well, this is my last meeting. I'm going to be late. It's not a good one. But I've tried to make as many meetings as I can. I have a very good record, and it's a commitment. I wanted to be here tonight as my last meeting. This June, if there wasn't a June coming up in 2020, would be 20 years that I've served our party. Had a part-time executive director. That executive director didn't have health and welfare benefits. They didn't have an office to work out of. It was a complete little volunteer operation. We didn't have a whole lot of money, but we promised to do what we were elected to do, which was to register, educate, and get out the vote. And we did that with gusto and with style. I've literally, like, look at Susan Pfeiffer, every time she talks about a voter registration, I have flashbacks to standing out in front of watching thousands of new citizens come out of new swearing ceremonies, eager to become voting citizens, to participate in this democracy. And I can tell you, if you ever need a dose of why you're doing this, go do that for a few hours. It grounds you really well. Because as you know, we all fight, we're all passionate, we take no prisoners, but at the end of the day, the only takeaway I can give back to you is shake hands and get back to work, and we can do great things together. So I want to thank the chair. He's been really a great chair. You've used our time wisely here. You've done very well. You've been incredibly fair to divergent democratic points of view like mine. And I also want to thank all of my colleagues for listening to my different points of view. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. Thank you very much.
All right, I've been on for 12 years, and I have to say, in 2016 when we got that left turn, right turn actually, this committee rose to the challenge, and I want to thank Chair Campos and Speaker Pelosi and all of the students, all of the groups who put the telephone together, who walked the walk, who did the talk, and June split the red and blue. That was fantastic. And so, you know, we took that down, we got up, and we thought we could continue the fight. So I'm looking forward to what the new committee is going to do for 2020. So associated. But I do want to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to serve first as chair. And listening to you, and I agree with Tom, we all have different opinions that we meet. But you know, we got through this, and we have a lot more than not. And we have a
Thank you, Petra. Jen?
I definitely haven't been here as long as they have. I've only been here 1 year, and it's been eye-opening for me. I don't think I would have been able to learn as much as I have being on this committee, and I really thank my colleagues for that. I think we still have a lot of work, especially with the president still being the president, and I think the new incoming committee will be able to do a lot of. It's actually, I'm very happy to see a lot of the people who are on this committee continuing to do the work because it's very hard. Like Lynn said, it's a thankless job a lot of the times. And I really want to thank Chair Campos for really helping us to facilitate a lot of the discussions that we have. Right now, I always agree, but I think at the end of the day, we're all busy.
Thank you. Member Aliota. Member Souza. Member Souza. Well, one thing I would say about Member Souza, because I was proud to appoint her, and in appointing her, we were appointing the first ever DACA recipient to a central committee anywhere in the country. And the hope really was that the state legislature would get its act together in time so that this woman and other DACA recipients would have the opportunity to run in March. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and that's the reason, sadly, that she is not going to be able to continue to serve. But my hope is that there will be a reappointment or some opportunity in the future, because this is the future of the Democratic Party.
Right.
First, I'd like to thank Chair Campos for appointing me as the first DACA recipient appointed to this body. It has been a great responsibility to ensure that we are integrating a more inclusive platform for all Democrats and, have those civil conversations to advance economic justice, social justice issues. I want to thank each of you for your support. I wouldn't be here without you, and it has been an honor to work with each of you. And I look forward to helping you register more voters. I want to thank Susan Pfeiffer for your excitement, your
Okay, so now member Angela Alioto.
You're just dying for me to get up there, but I don't know. I'm very happy you have asked me to speak. Thank you very, very much. The Democratic Party is part of my soul. And so to run for this office was very, very important to me, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm really sorry I haven't got to know each and every one of you even better than I have in the last, it'll be 4 years in June. But it's been really great. Some of the work you do is just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But I have to say, Petra's saying, we made it through it. Just barely, we made it through it. We're here. It's not like beating up on Trump. We gotta make it through that, we gotta win. And we are all on the same side, and we all have the same passion for the underrepresented, and that's what's so very, very important for those who don't have a voice. And that's what we are as a Democratic Party, and that's extremely important. But I just want to say that the one thing I really, really love, and to see the classics here, is like Susan. Classics. Earlier. Classics. You're indispensable. Both of you. Thank you. Indispensable to who we are as a Democratic Party. But I just want to say that talking and hearing the public, that's what matters to me. And it's been great. I've heard from thousands of people I would have never heard from if I hadn't run for this office. And so I'm honored to have run. It's been an interesting 4 years, and I'll never forget it. And I think we do have differences, but I think we need to listen to each other's differences, maybe a little more, and try to understand where somebody is coming from. But the bottom line is, at least for me, I'm not a single issue person, and I never will be. We agree on a lot, and the things we out there that don't agree. So thank you all very, very much. Send it on.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for your service and your passion. Tim Lowe.
It has truly been an honor to serve on this committee with all of you. I know people did a good thing as points. Thank you, Chair Thomas, and all of the members here for the opportunity. I have to say I'm living proof as to why this party exists. I, at some point in my life, lost trust and lost faith in the democratic process, in the electoral process. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a Democrat. I was one of those young, disenfranchised people thinking, why? Why care? But my parents came to this country, and I'm ethnically Chinese, so they came from Burma, and they lived through the upheaval there to fight for democracy. So for us, it wasn't just so much about this idealism, but it's about what you make a Democratic Party, and that's exactly what you guys do every day. We shape it, we shape the future, and it's been a privilege. And not only that, I actually can say, because my daughter is now 2, she was raised by all of you. That's right. I'm not sure anything but this. So thank you so much for being supportive. I know we have a lot of young moms here and those that come before us. Thank you for all, everyone that has done all the work leading up to this point. I hope we can become much more parent-friendly and kid-friendly. And I hope this will not be the last time I see all of you. I think the work happens outside of this building as well. And I'm looking forward to supporting the future of this party and everything that we do and stand for. So thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for all your hard work. And our treasurer, Elizabeth Alexander and Rowan, of course.
Alright, so it's been amazing to serve with you all. It has some of the highlights that I really remember and will cherish are bringing the anchor seat workers in and taking that picture. Y'all made it to my Christmas card, alright? Because I'm so proud of that moment of us and all the labor folks who have come into our halls and asked for support and given it unanimously. That is something that to take for granted or lightly, even though it's so second nature to almost everyone in this room, that having labor's back is always so important, and so that is a highlight for me of my time here with y'all. I have lots of pictures that y'all sent me of me breastfeeding while giving the treasurer's report.
Very lovely.
I do remember Henny coming up and being like, okay, at some point, I wanted that, and that was very, comforting. And, certainly the Resolute office that, we all together really have changed the course of this country so far and have so much more work to do. You will see me there. You will see me making sure there's childcare there. Yes. And because so many of us who have kids want to make sure that we're part of this, that it's accessible, because as much as politics is always in my bones, I wake up more concerned than I ever have been before, knowing that whatever, as a parent or as an individual, I can suffer through a lot of things, but I can't expect that of my child, right? Like, things I consume well, and so I want to make sure that those of us can participate in and continuing to shape and change the course of this country. Thank you, Chair Campos, for always being welcoming to all of us and the noise and the joy that our little ones squealing and crying and running around during meetings makes. And thank you for everyone who has just been just really solid. And it's been great to get to know all kinds of folks who I've heard your reputations but had not had the chance to meet until I got to serve this body. And to be continued. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't think I missed anyone, but can we give every one of them a big round of applause? Thank you so much for your service. At the end of the meeting, let's make sure we take a group picture, and I will simply end my report with this note that I think it's only appropriate given the work that we've done, and especially cover Nancy Pelosi as Speaker Pelosi because it really Nancy did. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Director of Finance, Petra. Do you have any reports? Nothing to report. And then where is Keith? Is Keith here?
No.
Okay. We'll do outreach. No, nothing to report. Our treasurer, Elizabeth Alexander.
Yes, indeed.
Have the mic right there.
All right, so this is a little bit of a different format. So you're in your folders, you can see there is a summary, and the federal cash on hand is $41,192.60. The state cash on hand is $131,243.88. We've had significant income this month, particularly from the last 2 months from unions, and the total income for the year is what you can see in the middle. For the state account, total income $90,885,000. The total income for the federal is $15,500,000. Thank you. That is, I was like, wow, they're fine. Okay, so those are, I think, not U.S. standard accounting. I'm thinking, you guys have to fundraise for a long time. Okay, maybe we can make sure that next time we're using periods and commas in the way that it's going to show up in this. $15,559.15. And so that was the total income for the federal account. And are there any questions? Nope. Okay. Thank you, everyone. My final treasurer's report.
Thank you very much, our treasurer. And of course, our Vice President of Partnerships, Member Maxwell.
Thank you. As was referenced by Pam Carr, we have a list of questions that we've given David, our chair, David Campos, and he is giving it to our treasurer, to our accountant, and our lawyers, and they'll be getting back to us as soon as they can. There's a number of things that they're doing, but that's definitely on their plate, and they will be getting back to us.
Thank you very much. And we're going to hear now from our Executive Director. The one thing that I would say is that in very short order, our amazing Executive Director has hit the ground running.
Wow.
The registration and the work of keeping the lights on, but also this mailer and all the intricacies of putting it together. She gets a lot of credit for that. So with that, our Executive Director.
Hi, thank you, David. So I hope you're happy about this mailer. We were really proud during the night. Yes, we distribute this mailer to over 100,000 mailbox. So that was. We reach out to a lot of voters because we know that in the next upcoming election, we expect a high turnout for this election. And so we also did some walk cards in Chinese and Spanish. Like this, different campaigns can use it, and leafleting, bus stop during March 3rd too. Also, we do have a mobilization on Sunday the 1st, for the free candidates that we endorse, the judges. So it's gonna be in Pelega Park, 500 fellows. So if you're available, it's at 11 a.m. Please come join us. David Campos is going to be there. Yes, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karima. Any questions? That concludes our reports. Oh, actually, our CEP Region 6.
Second time.
I know, it's like...
Second time.
I apologize.
You're classic.
When you love someone as much, it's just, sometimes
My husband says things like that. So, yeah.
Let
me just tell you, I think that this is a wonderful thing within and work together. And when people say it's like a blood sport here, our politics, it really isn't. We really do agree on most everything. And we get by when we don't agree too. And it's all right. I say that because, that's the way I am with my husband. We agree on almost everything. And as I have told you before, he's only been wrong 3 times in our marriage. Twice I won the argument. And the 3rd time he was wrong, he explained to me was when he said yes. So, I do better with you guys, trust me now. All right, I just want you to know that I think the e-board is going to be great because it's going to be in Central Valley. It's going to be fun. We're going to have, we are really working very hard on changing the way finances are done. Oh, Alla, you're here. You are the vice chair, the co-chair of the finance department. And we have the special subcommittee has handed the chair of the party a statement about what we would like to see the party do in how they collect money and how they use the money. And one of the things is really by getting all of the delegates, all of the executive board members to get in to the Democratic Party. Small donations is what we really need. And we are going to work on really putting a lot of money into this so that we can get a lot of money from it. And that is an extremely important thing. And I do want you to know that if we were doing special seats for this e-board, Region 6, because I've checked it, we still have the most people who are members of the 2020. I have to thank you help us with that. Alice Brown helps with that. And I just go out there and force people to them holla. So if you're in, I say, well, there are 2 types of holla you'll get this time. One has raisins in it to honor the Central Valley, that is the raisin capital here. And the other is just my plain old grandma's recipe. So that's all I have to report. We have a very important thing. We're voting for DNC members. You've heard from 4 of them tonight. And I do want to tell you something. I'm very partial to those 4. No pressure or anything. I will check on how you vote. But that gentleman there is the one person that will fight for the rights of people with disabilities. Alla is one of the best union people I know. I can't say enough about Christine Pelosi. You know her, and she really works hard. And Susie Shannon is always there when you need her.
Thank you for reviewing those director. Now we go to item 6, which is the presentation on the 2020 census outreach efforts in San Francisco. And so we have a brief presentation.
Yeah, Fresno's, yeah.
Yes. My name is Robert Clinton. I work for the City of San Francisco in the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. I appreciate you making some time to let me talk to you about the census tonight. Yeah, exactly. 2020 is a big year for civic engagement, but the census is the only fully inclusive democratic process we have because everyone can do the census and everyone should do the census. Doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen or not, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter if you speak English, the census is meant for everyone to complete. All right. So, It's good to have a foundation, kind of lay the groundwork for what the census is before we talk about what's going on in San Francisco and how you all can help us out in spreading the gospel of the census. So what is it? It's a count that happens once every 10 years of every person living in the U.S. And the issue that we face is that every 10 years when we do the census, not everyone is counted. So we have a historic undercount of people of color, of people who are low income, people who don't speak English very well, and this has a negative impact on our ability as a state and as a community here in San Francisco to receive our fair share of resources and representation. Very important. What does the census ask? There's a lot of kind of misinformation floating around out there about what is going to be on the 2020 census. It's really simple, around 9 questions. Here's what they're going to ask us. Number 1, how many people live in our household? Number 2, if our household is owned or if it's rented. Number 3, telephone numbers. That's just so that the Census Bureau can follow up in case you don't answer anything fully, completely. And then questions about people's demographics, right? So your name, your sex, it's a binary, it's problematic, it's the federal government. So we're working with what we got. People can answer that question however they most feel comfortable. Age and birth date, race and ethnicity, that's a little bit tricky. The Census Bureau thinks about ethnicity as folks who identify as Latinx or Hispanic or Spanish, and you have to answer both questions. So if you're a person who identifies as Mexican, you would check the Mexican box on the ethnicity question, then also have to answer the race question, white, black, part of the Asian diaspora, Native American, etc. And then the last thing is the relationship of every person to the householder. The householder is the person who is meant to fill out the census on behalf of everyone living there. In this census, this is the first time where you can denote that you live in a same-sex household, which is pretty great. This is it. So the census will not ask us about our household income. The census will not ask us about our citizenship status, our social security number, anything like that. This is the information that the federal government is collecting for the census. We do it for a couple different reasons. Number 1, we do it because it is our representation in Congress. The colors are inverted on this PowerPoint, so it doesn't usually look so dark. But if it were lighter, we would be able to see that California has the most seats in the House, as we all know, if people who are plugged in. We want to keep all of them, and we are in danger of losing a seat in the House, which has never happened before. So the reason why we're in danger, again, is because our population of people who are hard to count is larger than other states' populations of people who are hard to count, and so we are in danger of being undercounted. The current forecasts show us losing 1 seat and Texas gaining 3 seats. Oh! Terrible. We get 1 chance every 10 years to get this right, and that means that if we lose one of the seats that we are entitled to, another state who does not share our values will have more say in the federal policy landscape for the next 10 years. So it's critical that we have an accurate census count because it determines our representation in Congress and DC, but it also helps us determine our representation here in San Francisco. You can see at the top, that map there shows our supervisorial districts. The red districts, the red lines are the current ones, the blue lines are the districts that existed before the redistricting process happened in the last census. There are entire neighborhoods that change district based on census population data. So we want all the different neighborhoods and communities in San Francisco to have equal voice in City Hall. It's important that we have an accurate census count nationally. We also do the census because it determines our fair share of resources from the federal government for critical social service programs. We're talking about Section 8 housing, CalFresh, the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program, WIC, Head Start. These are programs that make San Francisco livable for some of our most vulnerable residents who are low income. And we receive the funding that we need to administer these programs in part based on an accurate census count. The census isn't only important because it helps us serve our low income residents. The census helps us provide services for everyone in San Francisco. We receive money for roads, for hospitals, for muni, things that everyone relies on a day-to-day basis based on an accurate census count. So when is it all happening? In 12 days, it goes live. The census online opens up on March the 12th. The census phone option opens up on March the 9th. You can respond on your own to the census at any point between the middle of March and the end of July. If you don't respond to the census on your own by the end of April, that's when Census Bureau workers begin going door to door to collect information from households that have not self-responded. That's called non-response follow-up, and it happens in May, June, and July. My office has been telling people since 2016 to not answer their door when the federal government comes knocking, especially when they're knocking, asking a lot of questions. So we want as many people as possible to go online or call in and do the census before the end of April so that we're not relying on census enumerators to collect that information. Here's kind of the cadence of what's going on. So on March 9th, as I said before, the census phone lines open up. March 12th is when the invitation letters start going out to invite people to go online to do the census. They'll send several reminder letters and postcards. You'll see during the week of April 8th that they are going to send a paper questionnaire in the mail, so that's not being eliminated completely. However, the paper questionnaire is only available in English and in Spanish this time around, and we know that there are a lot of people in San Francisco who do not receive mail for various reasons. We have people in non-conventional housing arrangements, converted garages, converted porches, multiple families living in one household. The Census Bureau is going to send one letter to every household. So what we need to make sure that everyone knows is that you do not have to receive an invitation letter from the Census Bureau to complete the census. There's no password required, there's no ID code or anything like that. Anyone can do the census and everyone should do the census. Cool. For you guys to do it, online, by mail, by phone, online is available in 13 different languages. The phone option is available in 15 different languages. The paper form is available in 2 languages, as I mentioned before. People will begin to receive this invitation letter starting the week of March 12th, or starting on March 12th, which is a Thursday. You can see that there's a URL there. It's not up there, but it will be my2020census.gov. And there's space for a census ID, which is a 12-digit number. Yes? It's not your social security number, it's just an ID number that you can use to do the census, and I'll show you in a second how that plays out. So when you go on to my2020census.gov, it takes you to this page. The Census Bureau hasn't released their online form yet, so these are bootleg screenshots that we've taken, so apologies for the blurriness. I'll take you to this page. You can log in using that 12-digit code they send you in the mail, so that's not necessary. You don't need to have that to log in. That's so that they can verify kind of your address quickly. And you can click that link that's circled in red there, which is if you do not have a census ID for here. You click that, it sends you to this page, you just put in your address manually. So the ID is not necessary to save you from one step. You put in your address number, street name, apartment number, city, state, zip code. Now the really cool thing about the online option, which is a big change from previous censuses, is that you can check the box at the bottom that says I do not have a street address, and it takes you to this page. On this page you can put in your city, state, zip code, and then a description. So if you're a person who is experiencing homelessness, and you're able to do the census and say, I live at the corner of Market and Van Ness. I live at Golden Gate Park. I live above the gas station, is the example they have there in the brick building. That's really great for this population who historically haven't been able to self-respond to the census. This is also fantastic for our communities who are really afraid of participating. They may not want to put their actual house number. They can still participate by putting their cross streets, their zip code, their city, and get counted in the census in that way. Also great for people who don't have conventional addresses, live in those converted garages that were mentioned before. So in that way, it opens up the possibilities of who is able to respond and makes the census accessible for a wider audience than ever before. There's also an in-person option, so the Census Bureau enumerators and folks who are going door to door in May, June, and July. They'll be easily identifiable with that badge that's over there. But the door is not part of the official uniform. He's just So what we're trying to do as an office, as a city, is increase access to the 2020 census by making it as easy as possible for people to participate and motivating people to participate by telling them how important it is from a resource perspective and from a representation perspective. We're doing a couple of different things. We have a $2 million grants program to over 30 nonprofit organizations that are doing census outreach and education work in San Francisco. Some of them are incorporating the census into their existing activities. Others are going out and creating new activities that are census focused. We have folks who are doing canvassing work, things like that. We partner with lots of different city departments that reach the hardest to count individuals in San Francisco because they are trusted messengers who already have touch points with those communities. So incorporating the census into everyday business across San Francisco. We're creating lots of different materials that are available to anyone who wants them. publicly accessible Dropbox, posters, postcards, bookmarks, pledge cards, anything that anyone would want available in language as well to try to spread the word about the census, the county in San Francisco, and then also overseeing an arts space campaign, and we'll see some pictures of things in a moment. I just want to talk before we see the pictures actually about one partnership that's really important for us with the Human Services Agency in San Francisco. So they are the city department that reaches the largest number of hard-to-count residents, so we focus a lot of attention on partnering with them. We give presentations to every single department within the larger HSA network, offering early parent education providers, health providers, etc. So everyone kind of who works within the umbrella of HSA knows about the census. We bespoke census materials for people who receive health benefits and are using HSA centers where people come to receive health benefits as health centers where people can do the census on the spot with a trusted messenger, with a community member while they're receiving their initial services. So our grantees are doing some really great census outreach and education work in their communities. Some pictures there. This Come to Your Census San Francisco campaign has been live for the last month or so. If you're on Market Street, you can see some of these kiosks, the JCDSO kiosks. They're really beautiful. They have artwork that reflects our diverse communities and is created by those diverse communities that has this Come to Your Census San Francisco message. Our outreach materials are available now. The ones on the left are ones specifically for people who are experiencing homelessness. They say no address, you still count, and explain the ways that you can participate even if you don't have a conventional house. So yeah, it's really cool. The ones on the right there is a poster that we created for the Chinese community. The cool thing about that is we're working with the United Way of the Bay Area on a Bay Area Counts texting tool. We can text in count to a 415 number and get updates about the census. That didn't really work for the Chinese community, so we're partnering with Chinese for Affirmative Action on a WeChat channel so that we're trying to make sure that we're reaching people in a culturally competent way, no matter what technology they use. We have a website, sfgov.org/census, sf.gov/census, and all of our different census resources and events. And the coolest site that we have is sfcounts.org. That is where people can find a census help seeker in their community. You can't see it there, you can filter by language. There's a new filter where you can filter by LGBTQ friendliness, accessibility, and filter for people who are experiencing homelessness. These are places in communities where people can go and get help doing the census with a trusted messenger at a place that's not too far from their house. So pretty cool. And we need you all to work about the census. This slide moves. Yeah, cool. Help us this about the census, telling people that there is no citizenship question on the 2020 census. It is safe and protected. Title 13 of the U.S. Code of Laws says that the Census Bureau cannot share any personally identifiable information with any government agency or court, and any Census Bureau worker who is caught doing so can go to jail for 5 years or have to pay a $250,000 fine. Really important for that to go out to the community. The Trump administration is not using census data to prosecute anyone who is in their communities. The law is a thing. Highlighting different resources, sfcounts.org is the best one. People can log online to that site. It's available in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Filipino, and find a census help center in their community. It then motivate people to participate by telling them how important it is for us to have an accurate and complete count for the sake of receiving our fair share of resources and representation. And that's it for me.
Great job for the presentation. So we'll take a couple of questions. Henny.
Be nice. Are you working with the unions to do this? Well, I know you are, because all the unions are pitching in to do this for their members, for their families. So that's another thing. I was just at a meeting about that in Southern California, and I just wanted you guys to know about it.
Question over here.
Yeah, so the U.S. Census Bureau is responsible for the counting. So I work for the city, I'm not the feds. The U.S. Census Bureau does a group order evaluation where they count people living in various group orders. They count people who live in shelters, hospitals, and also people
We have a couple of questions. We'll go this way and we'll come back to this way. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. And Robert, thank you for an amazing presentation as always. As a member of the Human Rights Commission, Robert presented to us and will be helping in the effort. One of the issues that we've been talking about is that the Republican Party is going to be sending mailers to people's homes. Those mailers are already being received by folks. They've designed it as a misinformation campaign. It looks like the census document, and an uninformed individual, which would be most of us, would easily be deceived by it. So to the extent that the DCCC can work with OSEA, with the Human Rights Commission to combat this misinformation campaign, it's incredibly important for us to be that. So I wanted to bring that to the table. Thank you.
We're happy to do whatever we can.
I just have one other question. When you say it's going to go out to households, is it landlords who are going to get it, or just are the people who live in the
Great question. So the census invitation letter says "Dear Resident," so it's not addressed to anyone specifically, not addressed to the landlord, just addressed to whoever receives the mail. The way that the Census Bureau has designed it is for one person who lives in the household to complete the census on behalf of everyone who lives there. We know that that's not a great strategy. So what we're telling people is that everyone should do the census here. If you have any reason to think that you haven't been counted in your household, you should do it. And we'll let the Census Bureau worry about removing any duplication on the back end. We've never been overcounted, so that's not an issue that we're worried about. We're worried about being undercounted.
Elizabeth, do you have a question?
My question is a little bit similar. So if there's two families in a household or a family living with single people in a household, is that one census survey or is that one per income group or people who share? I don't know. How do you describe that?
No, that's a great question. So in situations where there are multiple families living in one household, there could be one family that does it for everyone living there, or both families could do it. The Census Bureau is saying that they're not going to limit the number of responses for one specific address. And again, the issue is that sometimes when you have non-family households, if we were to live together, I don't know your last name or your birthday, anything like that. So I couldn't do the census on your behalf. But I could say, hey, I just did the census. You can go online and do it too. You don't need an ID. You don't need a password, anything like that.
Jen?
Well, it's great that they're asking citizenship questions. We're still asking quite a lot of details. Is it required to answer every single question?
Another great question. So legally, according to the Constitution, everyone has to do the census and everyone has to answer every question. But I don't work for the federal government, so what I can tell you is that you can skip certain questions. The more questions you skip, the more likely it is that a Census Bureau worker will come to your house to do a follow-up to ask you those questions. The online form will be able to be submitted if you skip certain questions. And there's some that are more important than others, right? So in the Constitution, we use the census to count people, so you need to put how many people live in your household. You don't want to put your telephone number, it's not as much of a red flag for the Census Bureau. There's a specific kind of algorithm that we use to determine which questions are flagged for follow-up or which aren't, and it's kind of beyond what they're sharing with people at the time.
Well, as someone who lives the census, because I oversee it for Santa Clara County, you did a great job. So can we give him a big round of applause? Thank you. The one thing that I would say is that I think all of us need to take it upon ourselves to make sure that we talk to people in our lives, whether it's family, friends, neighbors, but also people at work. You know, we really are connected. If someone is not counted, that hurts them, but it also hurts you. And it, like we said, it goes out March 12th, so beginning then people can start filling it out. And one thing that we found in Santa Clara County doing surveys, polling, is that there is a lot of misinformation or, you know, lack of information that people have. Some people think that kids are not counted, so children tend to be undercounted in most jurisdictions. Seniors are left out. A big population that is actually left out are college students because they think that they don't live where they go to school, and in fact, that's where they should be counted. It's not in where they're from, but it's where they are.
Roommates, oftentimes people don't think that they are responsible for their roommates. If they're filling it out for that household, include everyone. And interestingly enough, the younger generation is actually more skeptical in our surveys and our polling of the census. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. One of them is that when they were young and the census happened last time, they were not responsible, for filling it out. But there's also, I think, a lot of questioning of government. So let's take it upon ourselves. And the last thing that I would say is that the Trump administration is doing everything possible to make sure that the hard-to-count communities are in fact not counted.
That's right.
Politically, it's in his interest that states like California, that cities like San Francisco are actually undercounted. So let's make sure that we counter that by making sure that we have the highest response possible in the Bay Area. Thank you so much. We'll move on now to the next item, which is new business. Any new business to report? Any announcements? Seeing none, do we have any memoriam, any adjournments, anyone? Honor. So why don't we do this before you leave? If you can take a group picture so that we remember this evening, this night. Yes, Monday on the
I just wanted to say that the memorial is March 18th at City Hall at 11 o'clock.
March 18th, 11 o'clock. Maybe we can put that on our website so that people are aware that I will be there. So without any other business before us, the meeting is adjourned.